All right. And this is where it gets interesting. All right, because the thought that what I was actually just contemplating on before I was gonna make this, and it's this next video is about evoking spirits to heal childhood trauma. And what that led me to realize is that boots on the ground really means what it takes to actually, for it to make something supposedly happen. So if you're okay, boots on the ground means that there's a body in it, right? Represents actual people on the earth, firm, they know what is at task. So, of course, the children are, uh, in many ways, the prime target for the swarm because the earlier you can convince the life that it is the swarm, the better. The better for what? The better for the dismay and distraction and total dismay and combobulation and just a bliss. A bliss. And when you think you have the spirit, what do you have? What is the spirit? Is it multiple spirits? Many spirits? Legion. Yes, it's many spirits, guys. That's what the world, meaning the hive mind, believes. Yes. The hive mind meaning the swarm. So this idea of rising above from the boots on the ground, I mean, people love to throw that term around, the boots on the ground, the grew sprouts. This is where all the change comes from. Yes, the boots on the ground. But the children, okay, the children are the most beautiful metaphor of what life is. And sure, they're funny and cute and they're hysterical and it's just amazing, right? But at the same time, what what are children? And it's not supposed to be an earth-shattering, profound thing to say, but yes, what are the children? And no, it couldn't be that they're just blasted and blasted and blasted into oblivion the minute that they enter this realm. No. And it couldn't be that that's what exactly what happened to you. No. It couldn't be that. Because the flesh is a purpose to see the truth. And the spirit is the word of God written in your heart. The promise of giving you eternal life. The promise. Because it is real. Because it's there. It's relentless every time you look around and it's there, relentlessly over and over and over again. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't get offended. It just relentlessly gives and gives and gives and gives. That's true unconditional love. Wow. Whoever knew. No, it couldn't possibly be that. But that's just the truth. That is the truth. And it's the only way to return to the Father, meaning to return to what will is was and will forever be exactly. Exactly. But no, you want it to be a blast that just went somewhere and another place and another place and just bounced around in this mega storm of dust that somehow just chilled into marbles and marbles. There's so many marbles everywhere. Watch out, guys. There's so many marbles everywhere. They're just spinning and spinning. Spinning forever and ever, but nowhere because, right? There's no up, there's no down, there's no anywhere, there's no direction. It's just a bliss. The abyss is a bliss, right? Because you love it. because it tells you how awesome and powerful you are. It tells you how amazing and how you're here to conquer and just devastate and ravage and just murder and just please and satisfy. Yes, to please and satisfy. What? The pleasure and the satisfaction. Wow. Wow, you believe it and you love it. It's so logical to you. It's so logical because you believe you're smashed, reptile brain, apparently. Apparently, you have a reptile and a mammalian and then some other galactic, other space brain. It's your higher brain, you tell yourself. It's your higher self. Amazing. When you launch yourself relentlessly every day for hours and hours, just to blast off, to knock out some fictitious home runs that don't exist, to get points somewhere that you think is nowhere, and that's the blash, the mash, and the splash of your desire. Yes, the fantasy. All pumping up the swarm, just pumping up the jam to smash it to the beat and do some breakdancing and just go nuts and have people raise their hands like they just don't care. Exactly. They don't give a damn. So boots on the ground, right? Achilles heel. The Achilles heel for the resentment of being made of the flesh, for resentment. Why do you have to resent the flesh? The flesh is the purpose. The flesh is the purpose that allows you to witness the truth, but no, you deny the truth and you allegiance yourself to the lie that is the empty promise to where space, the ultimate galaxy of nowhere and everywhere and everything and nowhere. Yes, it's amazing. It's so amazing. It just will destroy and obliterate your mind into the next virtual reality where you can just satisfy, press this button. This is what I'm doing. Look, this is what you can do forever. This. Wow, just do it forever. Wow, it's so blissful and I'm hypnotized. Wow, so powerful. No. Okay, and it's not about being a rat in a cage. Oh, I'm so angry. Guys, use your anger. Yes, defile and just pillage. And to pillage those who pillaged you. Yes, go out and just smash. Smash it all. Just crash it all. Just burn it, right? Because you can do it. And apparently, yes, you are burning the world into oblivion, but no. What you call the world relentlessly gives and gives and gives and gives relentlessly. However, you have beat the living life out of yourself, meaning, yes, it is the tribulations, the endurance of the resolve. This was always resolved. It has always been resolved. Return. Return to the Father. He is the way, the life, and the love forever. The truth, of course. And you can, that is the wisdom. The wisdom just flows, just smashes through the barriers of the so-called man-made world. What are you talking about? Exactly. Yes. Smashes and just devastates the wall that is supposedly keeping you from the demons from the north or whatever, beyond the wall. No, they're talking about something else. They're talking about, yes, wow, there is such a thing as life, and it shows you every time. It calls out every time. It calls out every time, just relentlessly. Calls out. It calls out. You know why? Because it's written and it's the word of God. Oh my. It is so amazing. But no, you will deny it and just defile yourself and abuse yourself into oblivion. But what is oblivion? Yes, it's a place where Tom Hanks went and Tom Cruise, whoever, it doesn't even matter. But the movie Oblivion, it was a beta movie, some other movie made in some other age. But it is a program that was created by some initiation, but look it up. And it's so amazing. Okay, it's a cowboy, a desolate cowboy that just cannot, he's just so weak. But anyway, look it up. It's, I'll get to this video, but I had to say this. And this is Who cares if you stop listening? Okay, because of course you don't listen. You don't listen to anyone but yourself. Yes, me, always, always. Yes, satisfy. I am unsatisfied, so therefore I'll just go and smash over here. Yes. No. It's about, yes, admitting to yourself that you've always recognized the truth, but somehow you were defiled along the way and you just were knocked out, did punch drunk. Just, it didn't even matter because you were traumatized by that point and it didn't even give a damn. But you called it overcoming. You called that. You called not giving a damn overcoming. You called not giving a damn overcoming. Wow. So profound. But of course, some psychologist, some coach, some life coach told you this. Oh, some life coach, okay, is actually running your life, actually just demolishing, derailing it, getting it groined and knocked out, and just devastating the inner workings of the flesh. Just creating more devastation, because obviously the flesh endures. The flesh endures, just relentlessly until what? Exactly, until it doesn't. But why is that? Nobody knows, right? But you know what? It is written, and of course, it's a resolve. The resolve, and there's resolve within all of us, and it's the resolve of your allegiance. The resolve of your allegiance. What is your allegiance? Okay, is it to your flag, to your country, to your spouse? What is it? No, you have no idea. You have no idea. That's why the abyss is just calling out your name constantly, just right, guiding your life. Wow. Okay. So the boots on the ground. The boots on the ground. Okay. And the children. The children are ravagely being just defaced by the boot. Okay. The boot that you think you're laying down to smash the pavement to the space. Okay. You have no idea. It's the boot that is smashing down on the innocence that actually defiled you and just sodomized you into not even knowing what repentance is. Okay? That's what it did to you. But you don't even know. But apparently this video is going to tell you how to heal from that trauma. Okay? Wow. Amazing. And it couldn't possibly be that, no, you have defiled the child so much that now it's revolting. Just revolting against that, the traumatizer. It's the becoming mini-me. The mini-me is, of course it is, the mini-me. You're just lashing out as you are in the image of. And what is that image of? Your father, Satan, meaning the swarm, the legion, just the abyss, right? Because there's only life and everything else is the abyss. Exactly, yes. So what do you do when you go and put the boots on the ground? Boots on the ground, people. You're calling out for boots on the ground and organization and leadership. Where are the men? Where are the men? Okay? Because men are supposed to have the most utter divine and just complete union with Christ. Right? And through that, just devastate the lie, devastate the swarm. Why? To protect the life. And what is the life? Yes. Woman, man. Yes. What? And what does that produce? What? What does that produce? Another one of you. Amazing. What is that? No, that's evolution. No. Yes, is it? Wow. Is it evolution? Your mashed brain doesn't know. Your mashed up brain believes in the linear little epic man that's turning into a robot. Wow. Amazing. Your mash brain believes in a linear man that just goes from some amoeba up to a monkey that's like somewhat just, looks just, just kind of messed up. And it's kind of growing up, just not really quite upright, but all of a sudden it gets its back broken, snapped into correct location. Wow. Amazing. It is so amazing. Just snapped, correct, right? Amazing. And then you have this ultimate, what is it? Right? Flesh. It's flesh. It's flesh. Right? But you have it. So that is the purpose. Even in your mashup brain for the, evolution, of course, you're going to say, the flesh is a purpose because, it's been mashing against each other forever and that's what it is. No, it's not that. It hasn't been mashing like that forever and ever and ever. No. What is it? You can see that it erodes. It endures over what you call time. But that endurance is the manifestation of the awareness of truth. But what does it do? It's just eroding, and defiling over and over again. Oh, relentlessly giving. Giving. So what? So you may see the truth again and again and again and again and again and again. But no, you defile it and just deny it and smash it and say no relentlessly, as though if it were trying to rape you. Okay? But how does life just rape you? No. You have identified with what rape means and what violated and being defiled means. You don't even know what being defiled means. You don't understand. You have no idea. No idea. That's why you believe in things like boots on the ground. Boots on the ground, yes. This mass army. Boots on the ground, yes. Grassroots. So you can just smash it with more boots. More grassroots so you can smash him with more boots. Okay? Yes. Okay? Yes. But no, that is a smashed up way of thinking. Okay? What is that? And no wonder nowadays there's just apparent youth that are just ravagely angry. But they don't know what to lash out. They'll just lash out at anything that they can immediately point the blame to. And they don't even care because they're just so angry because they're being defiled. But you know what? They only care because it's to them. They don't see how it's just going on everywhere and just being relentlessly sodomized every day and defiled and down your gullet. Okay, down your gullet, relentlessly up and down and up and down and up and down. Your esophagus, up and down, up and down, up and down, down and forward. But no, there's no up and down or left or right. No, there's nothing according to what you believe. It's just abyss, the abyss where it's going somewhere but nowhere, right? Yes, there is somewhere, but we don't know where it's going, and somehow it's just going to snap back like an elastic band, which is an idea that you made with rubber. What snaps back? The truth. The truth will always smash you in the face. The truth will always smash you in the face, and you'll say the truth is science. Wow. Okay. Become a living God. See, okay. Of course. And this seems to be some sort of high priestess, and of course who cares, nobody's going to probably see this, but the people that do is they either of course believe the smash thing, or they're kind of and they're straddling the line that will just sever them, right? The line of what? Confusion, because it's not the line of truth that just smashes you. No, it's the line of just deception, lie, right? It's this, okay?
Thanks for joining me on this Monday morning questions and answers video series.
Monday morning Q&As. Let's go.
Today I'm going to take a question from Facebook. This is coming from Kevin Smith, who says, "Greetings, EA. From watching your videos and reading the messages on the blog forum, many seem to share with you a childhood filled with physical and emotional abuse. I'm curious, how has studying the occult helped you to recover and heal from such hardships? Are there particular..."
Was this person just smashing this guy? Is this person just smashing him? He's like, I've seen your videos and you seem like a very traumatized person. And how did you has this influenced you and why you became a Satanist and all this stuff? And this guy's going to use this guy's comment probably to just think he smashed him. And wow. And use his occult power to just obliterate this comment, right? Let's see.
Spirits that you can recommend to those who share your background and also want to heal from their past difficulties? Wow, this is a heavy question. I've talked about my childhood abuse, neglect, the issues that I had to go through in the past in videos. And
okay, I don't even have to see this guy's old videos, but he just admitted it. I was just guessing, but I thought that comment was like, an insult to this guy. But no, it's one of his followers. It's one of his followers just smashed and smashed and smashed and smashed, and he's asking this smash guy to be like, hey, what got you over your smashhood? And this guy's gonna say, I rose above it like a phoenix from the ashes. That's probably what he's gonna say.
And in my books, because it is an important part of who I am.
Because the phoenix doesn't return from the ashes, okay? Because dust is dust. Dust returns to dust, right? Dust doesn't become fire and then become dust again. What are you talking about? Flour can catch fire. right? But then it becomes ashes. And ashes, what? Are they going to burn again? You can say, well, yeah, they go back to the earth and, they give life to a tree. No, that's life. That's life. That's life. That's life. That's relentless. It always gives. And you can say, well, it's a process where the microbes do this, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. Okay? MASH. They're just of course, they're constantly receiving the life, right? They're constantly receiving the life to even do what you're describing. Wow, what a concept. Wow, what a concept.
What's made me who I am and what drives me to do the things I do. And it's really a manifold question and answer and a manifold process of evolving myself. One thing that I definitely...
There you go, evolving yourself. And that's what every person, okay, this is key here, guys, because look, this guy has this cookie castle something backdrop, okay, exactly, you get the point. But of course, they paint this guy like a total, Satanist. But of course he believes it. He's just playing. This is his role. This is his role, guys. You don't understand. Okay, wow. And of course they're going to paint him like this because even though most people believe what he's saying, okay, even though most people believe what he is saying, no, they got to make it look like this, like some corny, cheesy, wow, this guy's loser. Wow, but no. The people that are actual Satanists actually do understand what he's saying because they're Satanists. But the average person, they don't even, the obelisk, yes, defile me again and again and again. And you're like, yes, right? But no, these people, these other normal ass persons that everybody assumes exist, no, they're all Satanists too because they are bound down. They bent over the cross because they don't even care about the cross. They don't even know what the cross is. They bent over the cross and just were sodomized into this, right? Into this belief, because it truly is a belief. It is a belief. A belief in it is the lie. It is the lie. It is to be under the lie. Like, understand, right? Understand. You are under the stand, the total truth. You're under this truth, all right? So no, when somebody says you understand, they're totally bashing you, bash with words, right? Always trying to be on top of you, always, just bashing. Bash. But of course, it's what you believe, so that's why I use it. Of course, that's why I say this person doesn't understand or whatever. This thought, this think. Okay, that's the word, think. This think that ultimately defiles, right, the life. Right, the think, which is the worm, and it's this worm because it's just the abyss. It's the abyss, okay? The total everything that the abyss embodies and tells you to do. It tells you to do because the life doesn't tell you what to do. It just gives relentlessly, right? The word of God tells you it tells you the way, and through His wisdom, right? Of course, but no, this person wants other things to whisper in his ears, to whisper sweet nothings, tickles. And what is this scroll doing behind nothing? What is this scroll? It's hidden knowledge. Wow, this guy is just blasted with symbols and hidden treasures. You better look for them, guys. Look, right? Because he is an ultimate wizard, and he loves it. Look at him.
I think with putting that information out there and revealing that part of myself to people, because it would be a lot easier not. It'd be a lot easier just to act like I always had a wonderful life and everything's been charmed.
Right.
But
wouldn't every single person say that? Yes, they would absolutely say that because every person has had a traumatizing childhood, and it doesn't matter if nothing physically happened to quote unquote defile you, but of course the trauma was relentless, right? It's everywhere. Right? And you might call it marketing, you might call it education, you might call it but it's think. And they then lie to you that say that you can control that think and then blast off into the abyss, and then bat the other things. And people don't realize that's just how you shatter. That's how you just split yourself. And that's the source of your life, the split. The banana split is the source of your life. You're just deep throating those banana splits because they split you right open and they leave you open to be sodomized. And here it's carnage. And here is carnage. And here is just a bloodbath. Wow. And here we go.
Magic definitely has been a major tool in not only my recovery, but in just exploding as an individual. I mean, I went and saw the social worker who handled my adoption when I was, 4 or 5 years old. And,
okay, and that is trauma for sure. Any child that's just swapped and dashed on, and that's desolation. That is desolation. That is abandonment. Reckless abandon. Why? Why was that done to him, right? And that's where victim exponential enters the brain, right? Why did it happen? Oh, it couldn't be that just the world is the succumbing illusion, the allurement, the song to the path of destruction, right? That's the song of the world, the song. And guess what? Who's chanting that? Well, you would say, well, it's man. Well, where does man even get the idea or the thought to chant out the world is your worshiper and that you worship it back? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
He was amazed that I was not in prison and that I wasn't dead or in some.
Yeah, because it couldn't be that, children that are just, ping-ball around, they're going to just end up all sorts of fractured ways, okay? You don't think that that's the whole purpose of just maintaining that? And that's what they call the status quo, the total annihilation of the children's brains, so that they always struggle with discernment. But they can come to numb themselves enough to think themselves gods. Yes, amazing.
Terrible life. He was pretty sure that was.
And not discernment through relativity, but discernment between the absolute truth. The absolute truth. Exactly. But no, there's multiple truths. There's multiples and multiverses of multiverses of multiverses.
Going to be my destiny, because that is kind of the destiny of people, I think, that don't learn how to cope with these.
Because the truth couldn't be that it is the flesh, meaning the purpose. The truth was the word that made the flesh. Come on, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It made you, and it made everything that you think you know, okay? But what defiles that? The serpent, the worm, the swarm that just comes in and defiles at any given time. And the time doesn't exist because you believe in the power of now. Because you are a Satanist and Satan tells you that you only live once. YOLO, baby. Yes. Do it your own way and smash and dine. Dine yourself into oblivion, right? Because who gives a damn how you got here? Who gives a damn? Because you already know you got here by a blasted monkey race that just blasted its way into oblivion and came up with a superhuman and called it what? Lucy? Called it Lucy. Called it Lucifer. Called it Lucifer. Yes. Yes, the rising star. Yes, Venus. The V, the X, the inverted V, everywhere. Just V everywhere. Vagina, everywhere. And penis, because penis is here to smash vagina, right? Because you adore the flesh. You worship the world because it gives you the pleasure to just ascend into godlike mode. Yes.
These issues, how to bring them to the surface in a healthy way. Express them, release them, and really evolve from them.
Wow.
And
evolve from them. Again, bashing you with the idea of evolution. That you can somehow just over time and billions of years overcome your trauma. Yes, overcome the trauma. But yourself, because men before you couldn't do it. Wow, amazing. But of course, the people that says that they all overcame themselves, of course, they told you that they reached nirvana. Of course, they would tell you that that's the doctrine, right? No, abandon ship. It's the Titanic. Watch out for the Titanic. No, people stayed in until the very last minute when it just got split in half. Split in half, everyone. Split in half.
And magic has provided a pathway that I've been able to use to, once again, just bring these issues to the surface. I do want to clarify that not all left-hand path occultists have this
Left
kind
path. So there's left and right, right? And of course, because there is such a thing, those who follow the lamb and those who follow the goat. The goat. The goat which you worship. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Lamb. Lamb. What is the lamb? What is the lamb? You have no idea. You're in the bliss. The bliss. Follow the lamb. Follow the lamb. Don't worship the lamb. What are you talking? It's the sacrifice. The lamb was a sacrifice. Yes, it was. It was a What are you talking about? And yes, you are the ultimate sacrifice, but because it's the purpose. That's why. That's why. That's why. And you could say, oh, it's all electric, the electric universe. And so therefore, what you call the lamb electricity, wow. You were just been blasted. You have just been blasted with a dose of rectal nothing. Okay? Blasted, but it still burns you and oh, it just burns you. And you defecate out of your mouth now. Because now, what? Exactly. The flow has been inverted. You're upside down in the whereabouts of nowhere because there is no upside down, yet you believe it. Yes, you believe it, yet you know nothing. And that's amazing.
History. Not all of them have serious abuse, neglect in their childhood. But enough do that it's a really significant.
And you might say, well, what's wrong with if this guy now just has a job, has a family, blah, blah, because he's bashing. He's bashing your children. He might be a teacher. Who knows? I don't give a damn, but listen, I don't give a damn because I'm saying what it's written. Okay, it's written in where? In the heart. That is promise of eternal life. If you so ever choose it. If you ever so choose to walk in the ways of the life, okay? If you see the truth. If you see the truth, you will walk. Okay, you will walk. But no, you call walking just bashing and smashing and just making multiple mistakes is over and over and relentlessly just smashing your face, smash all over again. And why? You're going to say, oh, because I was the victim. Because I was the victim to the 33rd power. Yes, you were. That was the sad part, though. That was the sad reality. But no, you blame others. And of course, that's why you have to overcome and forgive. Forgive your mother. Forgive your father, your fleshly father that just defiled you, sold you into slavery, okay? Forgive them and overcome. Return to the Father that promises everlasting life because you have it. You are the snapshot. You are the snapshot of eternity. Yet you believe in the snapshot because you are the snapshot idol. You love yourself so much, you just Instagram your Snapchat everywhere. Snapchat, snapshot, snap of me, everywhere. Of me everywhere and nowhere at the same time because that is what you believe in your bashed, smashed omelet of a turned, burnt, and then liquefied and then remade again omelet, okay? Wow.
Significant, I think, motivator to look at. The first kind of phase of, I think, why that abuse will push people into these really, really odd, obscure realms is because
it's meant to. Wow. Whoever thought? Oh, come on. Yes.
There's often a need to overcompensate for a feeling of lost power. That as a child, where you're robbed of all of
exactly, he's gonna tell you how to get the power back because somebody took it from you. It couldn't possibly be that somebody deceived you into thinking that you had power, and it couldn't be that they were defiling you into submission and beating the living life out of you. That just shows you the truth always, relentlessly, without condition. Yes, yes, yes.
Your power, all of your, power over your own body and your own condition.
If you had so much power, why were you defiled? Why were you abused if you are so powerful? If you just forgot how powerful you were, why were you defiled? Why? Exactly. Your bash brain cannot say why because it was your parents and it was the world. It was the ways of the world that just bashed and just smashed you, okay? And it doesn't even matter because this person doesn't believe anything. They believe in him. He believes in him and them believe in him. Oh, so righteous. Look, this is the look of righteousness right here. False, empty righteousness that ascends to the oblivion where you can just bat home runs of thoughts everywhere. Oh,
i-
my goodness.
in a, I mean, horrendous way, really instills in you a need to never be that powerless again. Now, somebody like myself, get my hands on something like black magic, and I look at it and go, well,
See, now you look into black magic. Whoa, now you're talking. Because maybe you recognize it and you're like, wow, that's what defiled me. Maybe I can learn how to defile it back. Wow, it couldn't possibly be that. No, it couldn't possibly be that. No, because the truth was staring you in the face the whole time. That's why children are the most perfect metaphor of truth, okay? Truth is relentless until it's beaten out of them, okay? Right? A child will always tell you, be forward, and you call them like, oh, they're just children, they don't know any better. You know, a child will tell an old dirty man that he's an old dirty man. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that having a mind like a child was so amazing? Who would have thought? Who would have thought? No, but instead you just go and defile and smash and bash and call things names and just defile and just ravage, take and defile and sodomize and power and just feed on the blood to destroy, because that's what you worship. Destruction and dismay. Because who is your father? Yes, Satan, that comes to destroy and devour. Amazing. Wow. You cannot see, but you do see the swarm. You cannot see, but you do see the swarm in all its color, in all its blasting color. Wow, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. This guy can't believe how amazing color is. Look, it's his God. Color is his God because light, of course, is his God. Wow, amazing. That means so much. It means so much.
well, anybody who ever threatens to hurt me can be evaporated, and using that.
Anybody who tries to hurt me can be evaporated. Wow.
Kind of baneful magic not only nullifies potential enemies, but it also
Potential enemies. Okay, this is the swarm speaking. Okay, absolutely. And this is the swarm because, of course, this could be anybody that believes in the swarm and has pledged its allegiance because the swarm demands it. The life does not defend. Oh, okay, come on. You can't understand. The life does not demand. It just shows you the way. And it says, choose it. Choose the way or perish into dust. Or perish into the false promise that you were told that you can smash anyone who gets in your way and just obliterate them. Wow.
it's a matter of, you go to try to kill a snake, not because you care about killing the snake, but because you want to try to kill your fear of the snake.
Wow. So this guy believes in ritual magic. So just go out and slash as many snakes as you can so that you can feel like you overcame the snake. Wow. What utter nonsense.
And so in kind of having these tools available for that kind of aggressive.
The only ritual in life is to totally dismantle any ritual. Okay? The only ritual in life is to abandon your glorification in the world because the world actually made you. It made you. It made you in the sense that, wow, you were born in the world, okay? But what gave you life? What gave you life? What gave you life? And you can say it was your mother and father. No. Because where did they get life? No, and it just goes on and on to the oblivion of the bang of smash that was nothing. That was nothing, and you believe it, and it was so amazing.
Self-empowerment. I mean, it's not really self-empowerment at all. It's a feeling of it. It's
not a feeling, but everyone is a feeling, okay? Everyone is a feeling of just knots and just snakes. Just snakes feeding on their tails and snakes and just more snakes. You know why snakes? Because they slither. They slither and they just slide and slither and slither and slither. Over what? Exactly. They just float. They float. They don't never overcome. They never overcome. But you think, oh, well, if they just slithered, they're just living. Wow. You would think slithering is living. Okay, that's why you slither through life. Yes. And that's why you will just venom, destroy, and sodomize any of your so-called enemies. right? Your enemy is the only one that just stands in truth, though, because they will totally call you out like the word does all the time. And the truth does too. But no, people are just too defiled to even know.
A facade that we kind of weave over ourselves, it kind of boosts our feeling of security that we're not going to be taken advantage of again, that we're not going to be victims again ever. And
See, that is the ultimate goal here. This guy does not want to ever be the victim again. He just wants to be the evoker of victimhood. Yes. Now he is the enshriner. He is the apex. He is the apex that now defiles downward to the boots on the ground. And that they will speak of grassroots, but then they will smash and dash.
and so black magic gives that, and it is a false sense of self-empowerment, because your own power can never rely on another person.
Your power can never rely on another person.
On
So he's just dishing out power left and right, and power, force. And he's obviously saying, this force is so amazing that it takes great responsibility like me to be able to handle it. And it couldn't possibly be that it takes great, effort to deny the life and just let the abyss defile you day in and day out. And you call that, being responsible. No, it's called endurance. You're enduring the torment. You are enduring the torment. You just have become numb to the torment because now you feel it empowers you. Wow.
whether somebody is being good or bad to you, it can't rely on their reactions to what you're doing or your reactions to what they're doing. That the true magician stands in the center, in the vortex of creation.
Oh, there we go. He couldn't wait to tell you that he stands in the abyss. That is his legions. That is his legion and his allegiance.
All these other things move around him. He is the force, the active force in his reality. Everything else is reacting to him.
Exactly, because that's
Now,
what he
obviously,
believes.
that's not a state you can get into when you're massively consumed with your own victimization or your own trauma or your own issues. When you're always overcompensating, obviously that is a reactive force, not an active force. But it is a part of it.
What is this guy saying? What is this guy saying? It appears as though he's just stumbling and just stumbling even further and further away from this supposed occult knowledge that he's just supposed to be able to smash out with no relent, no repenting. He should be not repenting about what he's saying. He should not be stumbling like a stumbling fool. But no, of course, he's just gonna just look at the camera into the abyss and let it tell him what to say. Yes.
A reason that people will gravitate towards black magic, specifically towards the left-hand path, when they have these kinds of histories, these childhoods that rob them of their personal power.
Are you saying that somehow trauma gets in the way of your power? Again, where was this power before you had the trauma?
But after getting into it, after diving into it, and really working through some...
Because it couldn't possibly be that it's basically the Holy Spirit. We have God's nature within us, of course, at every given moment. And it couldn't be that that is what it is. And that the trauma that it experienced, of course, is going to be a sign in your life to show you and shout out, what are you doing? But then the tickling will enter your ear and your massive brain, and it will tell you that it's someone else's fault. But you know whose fault it is? It's the mashed up way that you were brought up to think. Yes. Because thinking is the deception. Thinking is the lie. Think your way out of your troubles. Do it. Just brainwash yourself into thinking you're a god. Yes, do it. Overcome, and rise like the phoenix. Rise, in a blazerous thunder from the ashes. Wow, what a lie you believe in.
Some of these rituals, what you start to see is that magic Magic is able to affect the world around you by affecting your perception of the world around you.
Exactly. Who would have thought that light deceives? Who would have thought that light deceives and that the eyes are not corruptible because they will, of course, see what you see. But where does that come into? Right? Because do you see the truth? No, you do not see the truth. So then you're blind. You're blind and you're just flesh. You're flesh. And then the spirit is defiled. And it, of course, comes across as trauma. Trauma. Meaning, yes, it will make you stumble. It will make you stumble because it's relentlessly telling you what to look at. And it's not telling you to look at your stumbling. It's telling you to look at the life and remember the life that you are given. Yes, remember that life. Where does it come from? What is it doing? Is it just constantly defiling, just savaging? No. That's what you perceive. Because life, in fact, is just relentlessly giving no matter what. No matter what.
And so, as you're casting spells or summoning spirits or soul traveling or doing any of these things, while it is having an effect on the real world, it's doing it through the vehicle of your body, your mind, your power, the energy.
Your power. Your power is therefore your mind and your body then. Wow. If that's all power is, wow.
That surrounds you, your interactions, all the things that are happening on so many subtle levels are being...
Right, it's too complex, guys. It's too complex because the mirror tells you. The mirror is just smashing into the back of his head and telling him it's too complex. So just stare into it and look at yourself and look at yourself, look at yourself and look at yourself, looking at yourself and forever and ever, because that is the promise of your bashed up eternity. Because that you call that an algorithm, and now you're building some machine that's going to do that forever and ever and give you the illusion that that's what consciousness is. And you've fabricated this word to just blast and blast and blast and blast and blast. What is consciousness? What is consciousness? What is it? What is it? Oh, it's just, you can output, input, what's outward and inward and nonsense. Nonsense. What is it? What is it? Oh, it's just the observer because you're the guy riding the horse and the elephant. Whatever, proverb nonsense. What are you talking about? Oh, well, you're just the abyss. You're just the abyss. Exactly. You're just saying you're the abyss. Wow. You're saying you're the abyss. You're saying you're Genesis. You're saying, wow, you're the Big Bang. You're saying you're the Stardust. That's what you're saying, and you believe it. But no, it can possibly be that life is everlasting. And wow. It couldn't be that. It couldn't possibly be that. It could not possibly be that, right? And therefore, you have to go and smash and dash and find love out there because somewhere it's under a rock. It's under a rock, but no, of course, you'll say it's inside of you. Love is inside of you, guys. It's inside of you. So just eviscerate yourself and get it out. Just rip your heart out and give it to the world and make it love you back. Yes.
Channeled through the magician himself or herself. And in that way, the world and the magic tends to become a mirror of sorts.
The world and the magic. He had to say it. He had to say it because the world is the purpose. The magic is the lie. Wow.
You start to see who you are in a very, very
of
clear
course
way.
If you begin to see yourself through the magic, of course, wow, it's going to feed you and reward you for believing in it because you worship it. And that's what the world does. Wow. The world meaning the defiled world as in your bash brain, okay? Because the world just relentlessly gives. But the swarm is just thieving and molesting, okay?
Creating in your world around you, and what kinds of spirits you're interacting with. You do hit a point in specifically evocation and working with spirits that you don't have to call them anymore. They're just there.
Exactly. You get to the point where they're just constantly defiling you, constantly, because you have to ask them to come and enter you to actually get the power. Get the power, meaning what? Just full blast brain, obliterate, total separation. Total annihilation to what? So that the light can work through you. The light is working through you. You're so enlightened. Wow. you're so enlightened, right? Because the whole time they can just defile you by blasting everything around you, blasting you with commercials, blasting you with songs, blasting you with everything, blasting you with lust, filling you with defilement, sodomizing you left, up, right, center, upside down, deep throating the lie until the friction just is unbearable down your throat. It couldn't possibly be that you are defiled in that way, and that's why you're led back to it, because you have Stockholm syndrome. You have developed some bashed up attachment that you're so willing to say you were trying to overcome, and you're trying to bash attachment because you think that that's what it is to overcome attachment. Wow. Attachment to what? Your emotions and how trauma you are. Wow. Attachment to that? What about attachment to the swarm? What about attachment to the world that you think will promise you everlasting life? Wow. You are deceived.
And then if you kind of look around and you can observe the spiritual masses that have gathered around you, I mean, they are reflections of yourself. I'm not saying that it's just your psyche projecting itself, but they're drawn to you because there's a similar resonance. And
he knows he just gave it away. He knows he just gave it away. He's saying it's not that you're just projecting and then interpreting that all these things are around you all the time. No, it couldn't possibly be that. It couldn't be possibly shape-shifting up, just mash. It couldn't be possibly that the lie is lying to you back and you're seeing it. No, oops. So now he's going to backpedal and try to save it.
Because all of this, you get to see your flaws really, really clearly when you engage in magic at this level.
Change the subject. It just doesn't even matter. He just bashed on it.
All of your personality flaws, all of your shortcomings are risen to the surface.
So he's saying all of a sudden you can see your shortcomings. Tell me who cannot see them. Tell me who cannot see them. Because everyone can see them. It's just how numbed down and just bashed they are that they can't see it, okay? If they can't see it. If they say they can't see it, it's because they're totally bashed and smashed, okay? It's not because it's not there bashing them in the face relentlessly day in and day out. No, it couldn't possibly be that. No, it couldn't. But somehow when you just let Satan in, you can see yourself and you can see all your downfalls. Wow.
Surface and shown to you, and you're forced to deal with them.
And you're forced to deal with them. How do you deal with them? Do you rise like the phoenix, like in a blazing thunderous flame of burst of nothing from the ashes? Yes, this person believes so.
At the same time, magic can become a catalyst for immense change and for opportunities for change. Because, once again, you have all these things boiling to the surface, and really, your only option is going to be to deal with them.
Well, you're actually saying a lot of truth. You're saying the only thing is to overcome. But now you're going to say, no, you have to do it so then you can make a Goku Super How Never Next Level 12 to the power of nothing.
And you can retreat. You can definitely retreat, but you're going to be retreating away from magic and into...
Oh, he calls it magic. You're going to be retreating from magic. Oh, yes, guys, because anybody who just contemplates is just, doing magic. Yes, that is true. Anyone who just contemplates and sits and gets hemorrhoids and just blasts into oblivion and bats away thoughts into home runs is deceiving themselves. Because the truth is always there, and it's always there to tell you what it is. And you have just been bashed, because even a child will call a dirty old man a dirty old man. And that is what it's like to have the mind of a child, okay? Not to be so unsophisticated like you think yourself to be. Wow.
Either a world of delusions, which it does happen quite a bit in occultism, where people will get so caught up in the fantasy that they're forgetting about the end results. This is one reason.
Okay. This is very important, because a child can call a dirty old man, right? A dirty old man, right? But when a dirty old man comes and presents himself, right? Through the living color comes in and totally imposters and just defiles this child. Because what? The child trusted. Because the child trusted the world. Wow, what a bomb. What a bomb. The child trusted the world. Or did it? No. The child trusted its parents in right okay? The child trusted its parents, meaning it knew the life and the love from beginning, right? And so it knows. It knows that it's there to be guided. But what happens when the parent is not guiding them in the correct way? And you can say, oh, even a child that was raised in the right way can get defiled. Yes, they can. They can, but does it make it right, or does it justify that it didn't happen to a person that didn't get raised up correctly? No, it doesn't justify it. It's just more of the smash because it can. But of course, a child that is guided in truth has a way better chance because the child may stray, right? But that's the ways of the world because the swarm is relentlessly tempting your child. Relentlessly. So no matter if you just homeschool your child or just keep it in a woods somewhere locked up in a forest, it does not matter because eventually the world will succumb your child, right? That is why you have to protect your child. Right? Feed your child the word of God. Feed your child wisdom. Do not feed your child lies that serpent and eat the brain.
Reason I am always, just preaching about watching the end result.
Which really means defile the flesh. Because the flesh is a purpose. If the flesh is okay? Because if you cannot see the truth, then the flesh succumbs you. Yes, checkmate.
You're performing rituals, and if you're having these cool experiences, that's cool that they're cool experiences, but try to connect it with making a real observable change. If it's a change, if you're creating changes in yourself and in your world around you with a documentable cause and effect, that's observable, preferably to anybody who looks.
A documented, so you're writing notes, right? If it actually happens, okay? So you're just reverting to the past, so you're living in the past. Wow, amazing. Because why else documented, right? Why do you need so many documents and PDFs and everything everywhere, all over the place? Why do you need it? Because all you need is an EMP and you have nothing. So what do you have? Is that when you're going to do mass blood sacrifices and everything? Yes, probably. Because that's what it's coming to. The boots on the ground has gone to such a level of just sinister dismay. Guess what? The children are totally lashing out now because they are just lashes. They're just slashes. They're open wounds. They're just soaring. They're just pouring out. Okay, but what are they lashing out? They don't know. They're relentless. They don't even care. They don't even care as long as somebody gets smashed. Right? It can possibly be that this whole mind mash that's been the whole plan along. To totally defy the children to the point where they just constantly defile themselves and will lash out at anybody that speaks about defilement and how they're defiling themselves. And they will just obliterate, which is when, guess what? The truth comes in and just obliterates because the truth is undefeated.
Looks at the situation, but at the very least that it's observable and enjoyable to you, then you've got a gauge for whether or not you're really acting upon reality and changing anything. If you're just engaging in these things as a way to entertain yourself or feel special that you know how to do magic or that you can summon spirits or any of that, and there's no end result, I mean, you can easily drift off into just fantasy land. And I think that
yeah, you can easily do it, right, guys? So what makes you think that you're not doing that?
That's where a lot of occultists unfortunately live, is that world of no results.
No results. So you're not worshiping enough, guys. This guy's going to tell you worship more and call in more demons because then you will be more powerful. Yes.
You like to get together and talk about the obscurities of the occult and different spirits and different forms of Kabbalah. But then at the end of the day, they're going home to the mother's basements to live at 40 years old.
Wow. So he look at, that's a smug look because he just slap-handed the guy that lives with his parents. Wow. And why is he doing that? Because he can. And he's presenting himself as a overlord, as just smashing them. But it couldn't possibly be that this mashed up way of thinking leads to people living with their parents.
I mean, this is really...
And in the sense of living with their parents, because yes, they have never overcome their parents, because they still resent them and they hate them so much. They're so angry with their parents ultimately, because yes, they'll say they're angry at the government or this or that program, this policy, nah. But really, it's about being angry and dismayed and totally tormented and slashed and totally trawled upon. Right? The trawling, the deep sea fishing has obliterated any sense of life that you still had. But now you have the promise of the world. And so you're going to go and rise like a phoenix from the ashes in the world, because the world is here to love you as much as you want it to love you. So you just have to open yourself to the world and be smashed. Yes.
You see this more and more, and much more than you should, because this power can catapult your life forward. And
catapult you forward to where you were standing in the abyss before, so it just launches you forward into further abyss. Yes, you got it.
You know why I'm bringing that out is because you don't want to get lost in that delusion of creating a fantasy world that's not really doing any good.
Creating any fantasy world that's not doing any good. But here, good, you mean results, don't you? Because you don't mean good as in, wow, there's evil and there's good. No, certainly not. Certainly not.
As you use magic, though, and the world becomes that mirror for you, you start to see yourself. These opportunities for self-improvement start to arise. You can either escape to that fantasy world and...
So when the trauma occurs where you can just obliterate your mind further to blast off into oblivion to meet Sandra Bullock in space, that's... He's just saying that. He's saying, wow, I can't wait till the next trauma so I can just blast and use it to launch myself into the multiverse.
And not worry about the end results and not worry about fixing and changing anything in reality. You can escape away from magic altogether.
So he's like, no, don't escape magic. If you fail and fail. Just call in Satan more loudly.
Those are really your only two escapes. Your only other option is to confront yourself.
To confront yourself and bash yourself even more and defile yourself left and right and say, yes, shame, 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 until you are shamed into believing that there is no shame. Wow.
Because you just cannot get into these extreme subtle states. If you have a head that is at war with you, if you've got... You
it couldn't be possibly that your emotions is almost the encoding of the heart, meaning that it is written, but of course everything is written because the life is written in the heart, meaning the ocean is the abyss, meaning of course it can be anything and everything, but wait. You get to witness it in the flesh. Wow, what a concept. And you get to, what's that? That's right. Be humble and smashed by it. And then stand in truth because you have discernment. There's such a thing as wisdom. The wisdom that feeds. The wisdom that feeds and nurtures. And actually pushes you to the return of the Father. Exactly. You
can't get into these extreme magical places inside yourself with
but no, you're just gonna go into the bliss and lock yourself in a room and be yourself ravenous. You're so ravenous. You can't wait to just feast on yourself in this cubby, in this dark cellar, where you'll come out a new person and just totally smash the world.
A disharmony in the self. And so you are forced to really look at yourself and really evaluate, challenge, and grow.
Okay, 10 minutes in, and wow, this person has said nothing except stumble and reveal more of what this actually is.
And this is why magicians who are actually practicing magicians
who are actually practicing magicians. So what are magicians then? What are magicians that aren't practicing? What are they? And he will say, well, they're just losers. No, what are they? What are they? They're just masked people trying to do magic. Why are they trying to do magic? Why are they trying to do magic? Why? What is magic? You just said it's the fantasy world. Exactly. That you can just become lost to it. But what is it? Wow.
While we're really, really weird, really eccentric, we have some really odd ideas about things, magicians who are actually practicing magicians know themselves pretty well.
They know, and he cuckles. He's, they know. Wow, tip of the hat because they know themselves. Wow. And what do they know themselves to be? What are they? What are they? Are they worshipful masters? What are they? Are they priests? Are they these guys that are just doing the will of God, meaning Satan to them, right? And just doing his will to bring heaven on earth, right? Meaning their world, meaning the world of color, meaning the world that the fleshly believes in that is will blast them into the next multiverse of nowhere and everywhere at the same time. Yes. No, it couldn't possibly be that. No.
And they've usually learned to kind of drop titles and do away with a lot of the austerities of.
So they drop titles and then become a regular ass person and go in and deceive. That's what he's really saying. That's what he's really saying.
Of occult lodges, because they just don't. They know the fallacy of it, and
just because they know the fallacy of it. So right there, he's saying that, yeah, guys, okay, the real magic is in the Masons or all these other fraternities or brotherhoods or clans or whatever you want to call it. This mash, it can't be there. It's of course that's where it is. Where do you think you got it from? What are you smoking? What are you just obliterating yourself, bashing into the mirror and thinking you're smoking? Okay, what is it? What is it? Of course, it's the false promise. That's what you're smoking. The false promise to come to know yourself as God. Wow. Wow.
And they're exploring their own spirituality.
What they're doing is just feeding off the flesh and feeding off the life of others that they come to just dominate because they are the race. They believe that that's somehow their DNA recombining and making them have superpowers and all. Wow. These guys are fools. All they're doing is becoming master manipulators that devastate, the flesh, that just master abuse the flesh. And they don't care. They don't give a damn because they think they are God. And yet they go out and just defile the world left and right and center and blast the outside down into reverse inside nowhere. Yes, that's what he's doing. Just mashing up.
In a very real way that's having a very real effect on them, because they do have that opportunity to look at themselves and resolve their issues. I know for myself, had it not been for specifically magic, ritual magic, and specifically the left.
Ritual magic. He's dropping just bombs everywhere. He's just slipping in things that, of course, how could he not do? Because he has to say what it actually is. But he's trying to just kind of confuse it all. But ritual magic, exactly. And what are those rituals, would you say? No, well, maybe he talks about some of them in his other videos, but who gives a damn? But of course, the ritual, because you just said about killing a snake, and therefore you defeated the snake. That is a ritual. So therefore, when you go and blast and pump steel and disarm to get these jacked arms that you're gonna tat up, so bad because you're so bad. Yes. And what are you doing? What are you doing at the gym when you're pumping? It's a ritual. Yes. The ritual, meaning the brainwashing of something. Okay, the brainwashing of something that somehow gives you some fleshly reward. Wow, what a concept of just bash, recycled, nothing, right? Because there's nothing new under the sun. That's right. But you want to go to the sun. You want to just smash through it and return to what? The light, right? That's what you believe. That you're just going to smash and dash through the sun and return to the light. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Left-hand path. I would not have had really too many outlets for a lot of the things that I was feeling. I wouldn't have had solutions to a lot of problems that I had in my life. I mean, some really, really physical nuts and bolts issues that I would not have been able to resolve were not for an invisible hand coming and changing circumstances in my life.
And that's where he is deceived. Because the invisible hand, wow. He chose the invisible hand that he probably saw, and it actually came and probably had sex with him or something. But because it does manifest in these situations, of course it does. Why wouldn't it? Because it's the light, it can do anything. And so this person is this. This person is saying, wow, this I could have not come to any sort of solution were it not for the invisible hand. What is this person talking about? What invisible hand? Of course, he's trying to confuse you into thinking it's God. Of course, it's Satan, obviously, but that was his invisible hand. Because that's what the invisible hand that molests and just touches and tickles you, right? Because because the word was always with you, and life was always with you, relentlessly giving you life, relentlessly. And don't confuse that when somebody just becomes unanimated, that's God somehow taking it away. No, you are defiled. You are defiled. What are you talking about? God does not defileth. No, God giveth. Yes, God giveth. God giveth relentlessly. Relentlessly. The swarm taketh away. The swarm taketh away, and it will make you believe that it is the taken away that justifies denying the giving. Wow, you have been smashed. This person is totally smashed. And that is the true side of smash, because it is half open. It is half open.
And then I wouldn't have had a transformative force that I could invoke into myself and create an internal alchemical fire.
Okay, now he's more wordsmithing, more alchemic. I had the alchemical fire, yes. The alchemical fire of rising to this nothing, exactly.
That would help me resolve these issues and turn...
But listen, okay, the invisible spirit is the spirit that tells you all relentlessly every time. That is the invisible spirit that you have and breathes and pumps and everything. But no, you think you're doing it. You think you're doing it, and that somehow the other the meat, the hamburger just smashed together, and somehow, the you smashed into the meat somehow, but you are relentlessly denying. You don't even know what is smashing into the hamburger. What is smashing into the hamburger? You don't understand. That's why you're trying to smash things into trying to know what things are, because you don't know.
All of that shit into something beautiful.
Exactly. Shit. Turning shit into something beautiful. You believe in that lie. Because it couldn't possibly be that life is eternal. It couldn't possibly be that. Because the eternity that you want is of the carnal kind, of forever according to you. And what is you? You have identified fully with this beast of a flesh. And the flesh is the beast. The beast is the purpose. The beast is, and was created always. Is, okay, the beast, okay, the swarm. The swarm is the self-perception. The swarm is the self-perception. Once you have self-perception, you become ashamed. Okay, what? Because you know what it is, and right? Because self-reflection, this self-awareness, okay, that is the first separation. Self-awareness. And what is that? It couldn't possibly be that it came from doubt. No. It couldn't possibly be conceivable, not even conceivable, that doubt came from what? What is doubt? What is doubt? Self-awareness. Self-awareness is doubt. Self-awareness is doubt. And you can bash and brain yourself into you can liquefy your brain and inject it back into your bloodstream and think that's superhuman, because you're going to feed off the cells that just are, undifferentiated cells that you think are just going to blast you into the next oblivion. Wow. Stem cells. You believe in stem cells and you love it. You feed on it every day, probably. Okay.
Into something that I can
exactly feel into something. I mean, this guy's dropping relentless knowledge, right? He's just, no, what he's doing is relentlessly deceiving. He's relentlessly tempting. He's relentlessly tempting because he has succumbed to temptation.
take and contribute to the world. Magic has made that all possible. Unfortunately, I don't have
Exactly.
one spell.
Exactly. The world. He's talking about the world again. The world. And what is the world? If not full of doubt, according to you, because you were so confused. What is confusion? Doubt. Uncertainty. But what is certain? Life is certain. Life is certain. You have to do absolutely zero. Nothing. Nothing. Actual nothing to have life. Day in, a day out. Nothing. Nothing. And yes, you can brainwash and pass yourself into thinking, well, I have to work and I have blah, 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 and I have to eat and I have blah. Baloney. Malarkey. That's just called endurance. That's called endurance. That's called endurance, okay? It's not called survival. It's called endurance. What a shame.
Or ritual or, sigil or anything like that I can give you and just say, here, do this. And your childhood problems are going to disappear because really these issues are...
No, because I can tell you this swarm has to, just like it told me. It couldn't possibly be that he's just trying to come off as sincere when actually lying to your face. Lying to your face. That's why he cannot stare. Even though it's a camera. He cannot stare into the abyss right now because the abyss won't tell him to say this right now. Because it's shame. Because the abyss would just flat out tell you, I'm the abyss and I will devour you. So now he's looking away from the abyss because no, he can't possibly say that right now because, he'll have to put his finger to his mouth again.
Too complex. And when we're so young, with so few experiences to really imprint a reality in our minds, these really intense traumatic incidents imprint themselves as the reality, as the greatest reality.
Exactly. So all this swarm is influence you at all angles and appearing as though it's what it is. Wow. Of course that's what it is, you fool. That's what it is. That's what it's always been. Wow. It's the swarm relentlessly coming in and deceiving you into thinking that that's what it is. What you see is what it is. When what you see is what you wanted to see. But do you see the truth? Do you see the truth in the glory of life? Do you see it? No, you don't. You turn away from it at all cost. At all costs because you hate it. Because you hate it. Because you were traumatized. You were abused and defiled. And just relentlessly bashed and bashed and bashed and victimized to the 33rd power. Yes, you were relentlessly burned and burned and burned and singed to believing that you can rise and rise again like the phoenix. But you have to wait for it. You have to earn it. You have to have responsibility to hone the spirits inside of you to just blast into oblivion. Yes.
Because it's the most intense thing, the most intense catalyst that has been input into our memories, even on a cellular level, into who we are.
Exactly. So what are you saying then? Edit. He stumbled. So now reframe, rewrite, brainwash. He's like, okay, guys, let's get this one right now. Okay, film and action.
It's going to be a challenge, a constant challenge to overcome that and to create a reality.
See, he's looking for something to say here because it is a spiritual battle. It is relentless. Of course it continues. And it is constantly there showing you what it is. Yes. That's why it'll get to the point where you will get to the point where you cannot deny the Father. You will not be able to deny the Father because it will be what it is. Exactly. Exactly. It is what it is. The flesh is the purpose. You are the purpose. It is resolved. Okay? You just don't see it. And you succumb to the swarm, and it's just abiding and abiding and abiding relentlessly, right? And of course, the abyss. The abyss calls forever. The sirens that is death will forever call, even if there's no ship. They will relentlessly call, right? Relentlessly just suck and sodomize, okay? And you will put your ear, and you will just can't wait to hear the tickling. I'm going to just put my ear out there into the abyss and wait till my ear gets tickled, because I'm too traumatized to deal with the truth, because the truth will devastate you. Yes, it will actually destroy you in the sense of the emotional attachments to your whatever bashed life you think you have. Anyone. This could be anyone, okay? Any emotion is going to bash you. But of course it will. It's love. It's relentless. It will give you life relentlessly. It's not that emotions are love. No, and no. Emotions is like the kicking bag, okay? It is just the one that is receiving the relentless blow of the life. It is the cushion. It is the frontier. You are the frontier. You are the purpose. You are the purpose. And of course, when you stumble, it's going to hurt. And of course, when you defile yourself and expose and abuse and just trash and smash and dash, you're going to feel things. But it's here to make you see the truth, not to be and worship your emotions and rise above like a phoenix. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Reality that's exactly like you want it to be, because of that, the youngness of the youngness of the magicians in this early stage of their lives, and the intensity of the experience just integrating itself into who they are.
Wow.
And so,
So the earlier you just start bashing, the better the bashing will be, is what he's saying.
Flash forward, 20 years later, 30 years later, you're still going to be.
Who would have thought that the shape-shifting light, who would have thought that the light, right, would be able to just promise you to become light and actually reward you if you worship it? That's why you guys think that God is the bad one in your split, divided mind, because there's only the truth and the way and the life. But you think God is the bad guy, and that Lucifer came here to save at the bondage of the crushing bondage of God somehow, and that you just rose above like a rising phoenix. No, it couldn't be that the love is just relentless and gives life. It doesn't discern whether you're a quote-unquote good or bad person. But of course, you're going to say that you get to defile it and pledge your allegiance to your worshipful master, the Satan, that broke the chains of bondage. That really means you became divided from the life, you fool. The life that you were promised. Oh my goodness, they don't see it. They don't see it. They were promised the life that you already had. And now you defile life to get this, counterfeit, just aberration of a view of life that you think you created over mashed up billions of years and billions of billions and billions and trillions and billions of smashed numbers.
Working through overriding that initial imprint. And magic is the only thing I've seen that's capable of.
Right. That's the light deceiving you into thinking that you overcame it. What are you talking about? Why do you keep doing magic? Because you have to gut feed it. Otherwise, you would just walk with the life. Yes, and know the truth. And do walk in the way of the Lord. Yes. And you wouldn't have to do all these rituals of sacrifice and whatever. No, the way. And you're going to say, well, the Bible and all this, sacrifice, this. Wow, what a concept that they're talking about sacrifice as in the flesh, as in just being bashed and blood right here, right? In meaning, yes, the sacrifice of the flesh that you are. What are you? But ultimately, you have God inside, meaning everywhere. Meaning everywhere, meaning nowhere, because life is with you. With you. Because it is you in the sense that you are the observer. You are the witness to the life in the flesh. Wow, what a concept. The spirit in the flesh. Wow, what a concept. What a concept. Of course, this person knows it, that it's the spirit, but he gets to choose which spirit, and he pledges his allegiance to the spirit of Satan. Yes, the swarm. Because, yes, the spirit of the swarm is that which pulls you away from the life. Yes, because the life you always had was the promise, the true promise of life everlasting. Life everlasting. But no, you wanted to make it your own way into blasting your way to the next multiverse of nowhere. Yes.
Of accessing the deepest levels of your mind and prying it open and letting you look inside. Now, mind you, when I say magic, not very long ago, hypnosis was considered to be magic.
Hypnosis used to be considered, because now it's called hypnosis. Just like any other brainwash medical term used to be called other blasphemous things. Okay? Wow.
Not very long ago, any form of psychotherapy was considered to be magic as well as medicine.
And he couldn't wait. He couldn't wait, including medicine. Right? Because what is medicine? A mashed up sense of alchemy. Right? Into deceiving you that you can always heal yourself. Just replenish, your little mind, that you can just, come in here and cut this open and of course, you're allowed to do it, because here in this realm is the life of lust. Do as thou wilt, but overcome. Not do as thou wilt and just revel and just swallow gallons and gallons. Just gallons and gallons of life essence, just constantly gallons and gallons and gallons, because you think you're honoring some sort of Baphomet. Yes, the Baphomet that's bashing your brain into colors of race that smash into the prism of the block, of the cube, the square, and the square. The triangle and the circle forever. Yes, this guy worships that. Yes.
So magic, which is a technology that is really a solid technology that all other technologies are striving to match.
Wow. He just said this, okay? And it's not that technology is just retro engineering life. No, it's not that. It's that the swarm magic is pushing where science is. What are you talking about?
Is the key to being able to do this, but
because look,
striving to match that is really a solid technology that all other technologies are striving to match.
Okay, he's saying that other technologies are striving to match magic. What are you saying? Wow. Is he just admitting to you that technology is, that basically technology is synonymous to magic? Yes. I think he's admitting that right now.
Match is the key to being able to do this, but not through one ritual or anything like that, but through a constant immersion into the self.
The constant immersion. That's right, because if you don't constantly immerse yourself into the self, you will see the truth and the way and the life, and you will return to the Father, because that is the only way. Any other way is the pathway to space, into the abyss, to the darkness of darkness forever and ever. Yes, and that is what you believe, and you want to overcome that. That is your goal in life, to overcome and just blast your way into the sun, to rise into some other side like a phoenix. Wow.
through repeated rituals and through looking at your reality.
Again, repeated rituals.
Once again, your reality is a mirror. You better
And realizing your reality is a mirror. Wow, all this mind bending here. Oh, there is no spoon, Neil. There is no spoon, but yet try to manipulate it. Yes, yes, yes.
look at it and see what's going on in that reality. And if it's something you don't like, that's your responsibility to change that or to accept it. And through whatever means necessary. And
Exactly. He just said it right there. Blasted. And by any means necessary. Because he might be doing all these things and blast and blast and blast. But the only thing, okay, he probably was brought into some brotherhood or whatever. And they're like, okay, brother, we can help you. And we're just going to go in there and torture and savage. And now, do you feel better? And he's like, wow, I feel so much better. Wow, thanks, guy. But we had to do this sinister thing. Oh, it doesn't matter because you're just now a god. And he's like, all right, let's go with it.
And that's why we have these powerful ritual tools that are available. If you're trying to get...
It couldn't be that you are the ultimate bully and that you never overcame. It's just that you relentlessly now bash others, constantly, relentlessly, and that's what makes you feel gooder. Oh, it makes you feel so good and so good. Do you feel? Oh, wow.
Into an exact and kind of laser precision evolving of the self and
again, evolve, I love, evolve, blah, 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 precision, nothing.
Evolving beyond these childhood issues. What I would suggest is actually going through soul travel. Getting into
the soul child or the soul trap? What did he say?
Precision, evolving of the self and evolving beyond these childhood issues. What I would suggest is actually going through soul travel.
Soul travel. Is that what you're talking about? So this guy believes in overcoming the self. Exactly. Blasting yourself into the oblivious of oblivion. Into MASH.
Getting into the mastery of that.
The mastery. It should be called mastery. Because the only thing that is here to be mastered is nothing. You're here to be the master of your temple. That's it. Meaning to actually occupy the life that you are given. Wow, what a concept. It's not about going out there and occupying some park or some street with just blasting headphones and just blasting nothing. No, it's not about that. Wow, what a concept. That the reason why everything's just so defiled is because you're defiled inside of the way your allegiance is. Wow, who would have thought? No one, because think is just blasted.
When you're mastering soul travel, you'll raise yourself up to the astral plane or the causal mental plane, all these various planes.
Exactly. There's level this, that, the other, blah, blah, blah. Because, if you already believe in the stratosphere denial, because it's truly a brainwashing. If you truly feel that there's layers in the sky that somehow just lead to space, you are deceived. Yes, and the mirror will agree. The mirror responds with grand applause. Yes, it does. You know why? Because it's the abyss. And the abyss has to say the truth. Meaning it is the swarm that does it has to say the lie. It has to say the lie. Right? Because it lies, but in it says the truth, but it slithers. Because it manipulates and twists and distorts and shatters and just splits into 1,000 points of light that it scrambles. It scrambles the brain. It scrambles the brain. Why? Because of the trauma, the defilement.
Planes. But you're not mastering those planes at all. You're mastering that part of yourself. So on the emotional level and the energetic level,
it couldn't possibly be that this person thinks that the swarm is telling him the truth. How is it possible that this person thinks that the swarm is telling him the truth? The only way that is possible is if he's already been convinced that what he's seeing is the truth. Of course. Because the truth is everywhere. It's everywhere for you to see. Right? But no, you went out looking for it. You went out looking for it actually in the MASH world. You went out for it looking in the MASH world, looking on the rocks, looking everywhere, looking in even looking into women, even in the most vile ways. And you went looking and looking and begging and begging until somebody showed you, hey, if you do all these rituals and all this nasty stuff and all this just defilement, guess what? Magic happens. Wow, who thought that would be possible? Who thought that would be possible? That if you reject the life, you can come to own the world and live in it forever. How, you ask? Dust. Because dust returns to dust.
In your desire, your will, and the really raw vitality that exudes from you in the form of energy waves is going to be mastered on the astral plane.
Wow.
Whereas your memory of both the past and the future, is going to really be mastered, and your ability to get into that.
This just sounds like somebody has been brainwashed, repeating or parroting something that they've never heard. What is he talking about? What is he talking about? And he would say, oh, you just don't know because you've never been there. Neither have you. You've just been deceived by the light. Yes, complete delusion by the light and devastation that just shattered your brain, or whatever you call your brain, into 1,000 points of shattering light. Wow, this is amazing.
That really omniscient state is going to be mastered on the causal plane. On the mental plane, pure thought. And so, as you see, you're not dominating that plane, you're dominating yourself.
You're not dominating the plane because you're just ravagely getting pillaged and sodomized relentlessly. He's saying, no, you come to overcome the self. What is the self? Is it the flesh? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Because you might be just sitting there in the sacrifice, just there sitting, getting hemorrhoids, just sitting blasted, praying to something that you don't even know. Because you don't even know it. It just promises you. It tickles you. The only thing you know is devastation. Devastation after devastation, but yet you feel power and power and power. Because what? Because you believe it. Yes, you believe it and you love it because you love yourself so much that you have so much power to forgive yourself no matter what. Yes, that is the ultimate lie.
It's just like the ritual of a Brahman. So you got the ritual of the book of the sacred magic of a Brahman, the mage, which lays out a path working. In this path working, you're evoking and communing with these holy guardian angels and with these elect spirits.
Spirits. Wow. There's elitism, of course. There's hierarchy everywhere. Yes, in all multiverses, yes. And only the elect and the elite. What are you talking about? MASH.
You're getting their help. You're getting their favor.
Or does he mean the elect as in the chosen ones? The chosen archons. What is he saying? What is he saying? Because ultimately, yes, there is a sense of influence bestowed upon the earth. But no, you won't say that. You do not say that. Right? Because that is the whisper of God, the influence of what you might say. It's like the light remembering its light. Remembering it was light when it was falling, before it was light, just smashing and smashing and smashing and overcoming. Because what is lightning? It just appears and disappears. What was it? And you call it light. Just light. Just transfer of light. It's just negative and positive. Just balancing itself. Synapses. Oh yeah, blah blah blah. This nothing. It's just nothing, right? Oh, but there's a sound to it. Wow, just because there's a sound to it makes it something. Because you saw it. Oh, you saw it. Well, big deal. Oh, because somebody got smashed and struck by it. And wow, so it devoured. So what are you talking about? It's gone. It's not even there. It's gone. It's invisible. You don't even know. It's light. Wow, light can do that. Light can do that. Light can devastate. Wow, what a concept. So if light can devastate, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Because that is the true God that giveth and taketh away, not the real living God, the one true God that giveth eternally forever and ever. Wow.
And this is usually a several month process, some 3 to 6 months, depending on the reading. Some people say a year and a half process. But it's a process of getting into the divine parts of yourself, the divine parts of reality, and getting their assistance. And then at the end of the ritual, most people think the ritual is ended with a knowledge and conversation with your holy guardian angel.
Wow. So in all this process, there's always, a guy, of course, how does he know all this? Wow, because he was guided on this path by this invisible hand somehow. It couldn't possibly be that somebody actually told him, okay, now sit down here. Or he read somewhere that this is what you do. And no, it couldn't possibly be that that happened to you. No, it couldn't possibly. No, it was the invisible hand. Wow. Perhaps it was the invisible hand, meaning the whisper, the tickle of your own blasted mind telling you the lie. Why? Because it can. That's Jiminy Cricket. Jiminy Cricket is Satan. Okay? Jiminy Cricket is the idea that there's some sort of whisper, that there's something around you that tells you what to do. No, it's written. It's happening all the time. It's being spoken all the time, all the time. You just don't see it because your allegiance is to the denier. Doubt. Doubt and confusion forever is your worship. Because out of that doubt, you think you can rise above like a phoenix from the ashes. All because you believe and you worship the self and you rise above it. That's why you worship it, so you can rise above it. But that just means you worship it squared, triple squared to the third degree.
Now, that's just another facilitator. The ritual is ended when you summon forth all of the legions of hell, all of the infernal entities that are out there.
Exactly. So these guys are building up the storm, the final battle, guys, meaning the final spiritual battle when everything just smashes. Because, of course, seeing is the truth. And it's not that seeing is believing, because this guy's telling you that believing is seeing. Wow, because he's telling you believing in whatever, and then you will see it. And the light does do that. Amazing. But only the light. Because the truth smashes away. It smashes the lie. It just destroys it, okay? It just splits it in half. It just makes the way. It shows the way clearly. It clearly shows it. Yet, you walk the broad path, all the while deceiving that it's your way, because yes, it's so pleasurable to walk along all the rest of them that are all according to them on their own path, yet they are on the same path. Do you not see? Do you not see? Do you not see? Of course you don't see. You're looking away, always away, and never to what is always calling to you relentlessly, and not the voices you hear. Okay.
You stand them before you and you subjugate them. And what you're doing is you're not so much subjugating those entities. You're subjugating yourself. You're bringing yourself under control. The demons can be seen as these forces, these invisible forces that we don't understand, and that to us seem like they're chaotic. And we're harnessing them by harnessing the parts of ourselves that are also chaotic, apparently chaotic.
Apparently chaotic, right? Because the light deceived you into believing that you are chaos. Nonsense. You are the temple. You are created in the image of God, meaning the image is clarity. The image is clarity, to see yourself as you are, as in the image of God. You have God's nature within you and all around you in the image. The image of God. Do you not see? No. You're trying to find Waldo in the image. What is Waldo? Amazing stuff, guys. This is, I mean, it's, this is truly amazing because it's also revealing. It is absolutely
that are dynamic, that are changing with every input that's coming into it. I mean, all of these things.
So he's like, no, it's not that you're subjugating the demon or whatever, and they might seem as, volatile and chaotic and just devastating, but no, they're just, it's a projection, so you're seeing your inner, but so guys, just go in there and just face the beast and allow it to devour you, because he's somehow, confusing you into thinking that it's okay to be defiled. That's what he's trying to do.
Every major ritual path working like that,
defiled and split into 1,000 points of light,
is exactly that, where you're encountering mythological beings or states or places in order to affect the internal. And then
exactly, he's just talking about rituals. He is saying about rituals where you bring people and then you devastate, right? Because what happened? Okay, think of any time you've ever gone to a movie, right? Or any time you've ever seen anything in public that, wow, totally just shocked you and just put you in a state of just devastation, trauma, right? That's when you're most powerful, according to this guy. Wow. So it's trauma. I mean, have you ever gone to? Of course, you've been in those situations. Of course. But what of them? Tell us.
To affect the external, and it becomes a cycle for sure. Soul travel is going to get you into direct contact with that, where you're going to be going through the planes, you're going to be going through the different dimensions.
You're gonna be going in and out. More friction, guys. More friction, of course. Just he's telling you guys, go in there, and what he's talking about, just stare into the abyss, guys. Stare into the abyss and allow the abyss to devour you.
Other dimensions is not at all a close approximation.
And he's saying, don't fear the abyss. No, don't fear it. Just give into it, because that is on the other side are the rewards. You just have to trust in it. And by doing that, you're saying, in that I have to trust myself. That's what he's saying. Because he doesn't want to say that, oh, okay, it's going to tell you guys to trust it. But no, this is where you have to see that it's trust. He's saying trust him, but no, it's a projection. So therefore, he's just telling it's just you. It's just you. And so you just have to trust yourself. Wow.
Word to what these things are. There are other phases or states of being. All those states of being are within yourself, that you're getting into the different aspects of yourself. Once again, it's in Julius Evola's Yoga of Power, that all devas, all gods are here within the human body.
All divas are within the human body. But notice how he said here, and he didn't put his hand to his chest or anything like that, or he just said here. And his hand...
All devas, all gods are here.
Oh, did he?
Within the human...
No, he didn't touch himself. He didn't. He just... He put his hand somewhere, and then he inferred that it was the body. But what are you saying? What are you saying?
Human body.
He said body,
and that
but
if you...
What is the body? What do you do if you constantly savagely defile the flesh? What is the body? What are you talking about?
Turn your attention into the heart center, into the heart chakra, to the anahata, that you're going to find yourself in a complete silent state with the great, really the supreme God, the supreme creator. which is within yourself.
Oh, there you go. Because the abyss will tell you to trust it. And then by saying, okay, that really means trust in myself, then you will be granted to see what the true God is and blah, 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 mash. It couldn't possibly be that at that point you will be deceived completely and the light will just shapeshift and totally defile you, because that's what it does. Because the light exists in the earth. The light is what you can come to just interpret as what life is. But life resiliently gives. Color? What is color? Even you sorcerers will say, this is purple. No, it's not purple. It's maroon. No, it's everything and nothing, right? To you, as long as you can just manipulate the mash into thinking it's whatever it is. Yes.
You're creating your whole world. When you're getting into these states, through soul travel, through meditation, and then through magic, how are you not going to evolve beyond some of the
Oh, he's saying just because you're just smashing and dashing and smashing relentlessly, just again and again and again, over and over again, and now you feel like you're a god. He's like, just because now you're there and all of a sudden you had childhood trauma, you know, wow, like it's not like you even have to overcome it. No, you can just move on. What are you, is that what you're saying?
catalysts of your early life. You're getting into direct contact with a very silent, eternal part of yourself within.
A silent, eternal part of the within. Could that be the death that is just leeching off of you, just sucking the life out of you? No, it couldn't possibly be that.
It's going to evolve.
It's going to evolve. He just told you the death that sucks the life out of you is going to evolve. Wow. Evolve into what? What are you talking about?
Now, I do have soul travel course available. This is
here he's pumping his chorus. He said nothing. Evoking spirits to heal childhood trauma. So you're saying, wow, while evoking all these spirits by magic, smashing and dashing and dashing and smashing and smashing and dashing and smashing, I somehow overcame because I realized that, wow, I'm just God now. And I didn't even realize that, wow, I had to even overcome my childhood trauma because somehow I just did it. I just did it all by myself. And the silent hand that somehow molested me into deceiving thoughts of candy, of Candyland forever. Disneyland is the way. Of course. Of course, look, he couldn't wait. And what is he talking about? What is he talking about?
This is Mastering Soul Travel training course. I've got to tell you about it because I'm talking about one of these tools that can absolutely transform your life.
I'm talking about one of these tools that can totally just smash your life out of you. Just beat the living life out of you. But all the while, you're going to be like, wow, it's really challenging me and making me think differently and really blowing my brains out. Yes, that's what it's really doing. Because instead of telling them overcome with the wisdom of the Father, you're telling them, no, overcome with your own bashed up wisdom that you call wisdom from gurus of nowhere, from nowhere and nothing. And what are you talking about? What is this person talking about?
That not can, but does. It does transform lives. I've seen it with myself.
It does, because it bashes you and smashes you, and then now you see the world somehow differently. When it couldn't possibly see that the truth is there, smashing in face of you always. And that you've been traumatized to just turn down and look away always from it. It couldn't possibly be that. No, it could not possibly be that. But the truth is undefeated. It always speaks relentlessly, over and over again. Just as much as you just bash the opposite way. You know why? Because it eternally loves you. But you're just going to defile it. You're going to defile it and just smash and dash it. You think you can abandon the love that made you This is incredible. Wow.
But I've seen it with hundreds, if not thousands, of other people at this point who are using soul travel. The methods that I learned through years and years of study.
Wow, all this study led him to be a loveless, soulless shell. Shell to what? Shell of what? The shell for then Satan to just embody and just totally blast and smash. Fully. Because the more he just worships Satan, the more power he gets. Actually, to deceive in the realm of light. Meaning not that the light is to be worshipped, but truly this realm is succumb, right? To the eyes. To the eyes. But what is the eyes if not the bond, the holy bond forever and ever? But no, you smash one eye and you smash it because you say, I get to have one eye, my eye. Exactly. You bash the holy union. The union of what? Of what? Of the truth. Of the truth. The union. That is the one, the truth, not your bash mentality of just shattering and then collecting the pieces under one government. No, that's not the way. That is not the way to eternal life. That is the way to dust. That is the way to dust. Truly. That is the truth. That is the truth, because the truth says it all over the place. The truth just smashes and says dust returns to dust. So what? You're here to overcome the dust. Wow, what a concept. What a concept. What a concept. And you know how you overcome the dust? Wow. By being holy, meaning being whole, meaning allowing the love that created you to just blast the swarm away. Blast the swarm that you believe to doubt. Blast away the swarm that you, your own. Oh, wow. Just return to the Father. Because, of course, this person won't. He returns to the one he alleged to. Okay, he alleged to love, but he pledged his allegiance to that who takes away love. Yes, meaning that who devours and destroys and smashes. Because as life giveth, the swarm taketh away. And it's not that, it's just the same, one of the same, two sides of the coin. No! What coin? Is there this coin in the space that you believe that is just, the abyss? No, there's no such thing as the two sides coin. It's just to show you that there is two sides of what you thought was divided, and that's why you're living it. Wow. Because the truth is, God loves you. That is the truth. As cheesy as you might say, because you say God hates you, and that's why you have to love Satan, because he will love you back, because this other God, you say, doesn't love you, because he doesn't show you, because he doesn't reward you in the world. Wow. Instead, you just deny the gift, the only gift that exists, which is life. You won't accept that ultimate gift from God. No, instead it had to be this bashed explosion.
Practice and application and trial and error, and that I've learned from dozens of different mentors who have taught me, that I've put all that information together, made it available. I mean, this is
So I got together with other dudes that just smash and dash like me, and we just pumped and dumped this program that's gonna just completely lobotomize you into the flatline coma of the marathon that you call the rat race that you're here to overcome, right? And you're going to rise above every time you sit down and blast yourself to the oblivion again and again and again on the cock carousel of oblivion. Yes.
This is something that I put out because of the transformative force of it. It's something that I make available because it's such a powerful tool.
I make it available, guys, for a hefty price just because it's so powerful. It couldn't possibly be that this power that I talk about is not real, and that I just want to further deceive you into just becoming defiled and possessed, completely separate from life. That's couldn't possibly be what this person is doing or this thing is doing, obviously, because no, it's not possible, because he's being so truthful. Look. And no, because he's hitting the scroll behind you right in plain sight. Amazing.
So check it out, becomealivinggod.com/soul travel.
Wow. Everybody knows what to do. Of course you know it, because it's written in your heart, not written in stone like man will tell you it is, and that you have to just bash your head against a stone until you remember where you came from. Just bash and bash and bash against the hieroglyphics and just bash and bash. No, it couldn't be that. The life always relentlessly provides the wisdom if you accept the gift of the Holy Spirit. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Yes, because it's a big joke to all these people. Oh, look, are they people? No, they're just screens. Screen, another screen, another abyss.